favorite people. It's Miss Berger.
And Miss Lamb.
And we are going to do fraction, decimal, percent conversions.
Ooh. Oh my, that sounds like a lot. So our learning target is identifying equivalent fractions, decimals, and percents. And since we remember from the real number system that some numbers have different versions of themselves but are equal to each other, that's all it's saying.
Yeah.
Every fraction can be made into a decimal and every decimal into a percent and vice versa.
Yes, and there are 6 conversions that you need to know how to do. We're going to show you how to do them longhand, but remember, you do get the calculator, so you can use a Desmos or a handheld. So let's start with the first one, fraction to decimal. So say we'll do a simple fraction. Say I have the fraction 3/4. Well, what does that fraction bar really mean? It means division, which means I have 3, the top, divided by 4, the bottom. Now, in any situation, I'm going to take my calculator and do 3 divided by 4, right? But if I were to work it out longhand, I would go, okay, I have 3. Could I make a group of 4? No. Well, how many groups of 4 are in 30? 7. 7 times 4 is 28. I subtract. I bring down that 0. How many groups of 4 go in 20? 5. 5 times 4 is 20. And I have no left over, so 3/4 is equivalent to 75 hundredths, right? Pretty easy. But what if I had like a mixed number? Say I had 3 and 3/4, right? I would go through the same process of converting the fraction, and then in my answer, I'd pull over that whole number. So, easy peasy.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, first conversion.
All right, to go from a decimal to a percent, this is moving the decimal to...
Oops, sorry.
It's okay.
Stop touching.
Well, stop touching.
Jeez, peace. Don't touch it, guys. So impatient.
2 decimal places to the right.
To the right, to the right. The opposite of Beyonce. To the right, to the right.
So this is the same as multiplying by 100. And then we have to, because we're going to a percent, we have to use this percent sign. That would be the difference in a correct answer and an incorrect answer.
That's true.
All right. So if I have 0 and 2 tenths, and I need to move that to a percentage, I'd move my decimal 2 places to the right. I'd fill that in, and I just change that to 20%.
Yeah, I teach my students Dr. Pepper, right? So think of the drink Dr. Pepper.
You know, this is the first time I'm going to see this, so this is interesting.
All right, so D, Dr. Decimal. So I have a decimal, I want a percent, I just have to go 1, 2 to the right? So if I have 1 and 35 hundredths, I still go 1, 2, 135%.
Ooh, I like that little
So
dot.
Dr. Pepper.
Okay, well I'm going to go one more, and this time I'm still going to have my 0. 0 and 708. Now, it's Dr. Pepper.
That's
it's
right.
2 jumps.
1, 2.
Multiplying by 100. 1, 2. I'm going to have 70.8%.
Yeah.
There you go.
Right. All right. So Dr. Pepper, 2 spaces to the right, to the right. Opposite of Beyonce.
Oh, opposite.
She went to the left, but that's okay.
Okay.
That's a little out of Mrs. Lamb's
That's out of my
scenario.
That's okay.
All right. So let's do our third conversion, which is fraction to percent. Now for this one, this is a 2-step process, right? So we just taught you the first 2 conversions. So if I have a fraction, let's say I have 1/2. And I want to make that a percent, I first have to convert it to a decimal.
1 divided by 2 equals 0.5.
0.5. I think we probably knew that one.
Probably.
And then now that I have my decimal, I go 1, 2, and make it 50%.
And I'm pretty sure you'll remember that. If you think about doing an assignment and you only did half of it,
You only got a 50%.
you got a 50%, but you sure got more than 5%.
That's
so
true.
you got to put that 0 in there.
I'll move it 2 spaces.
2 spaces.
2 spaces. It's the same as that multiplying by 100.
Gotcha.
Because you could do this all in a calculator.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so let's look at the next conversions.
Now we are going.
Ooh, I like this one. Can I do this one?
Yes, you can.
All right, you guys sometimes think this one is hard, but this one's actually one of the easiest ones.
Oh my
So when I want to go decimal to fraction, I'm going to say it mathematically. I'm going to write it the way I say it, and then I'm going to reduce or simplify it. So you say it, write it, reduce it. So if I have this number, I'm going to start by, in my mind, saying it mathematically. I'm not going to say 1.2, but I'm going to say it mathematically. 1 and 2 tenths. Okay, so 1 and 2 over 10. That's what that means, right? 1 and 2 tenths, right? Now I have to simplify the fraction. So 2 and 10 are both even, which makes them divisible by 2. So that's really 1 and 1/5.
Gotcha. And if we had something like this, 0.28, I would say 0.28. I say 0 and 28 hundredths. So that's 28 out of 100. Now that's definitely two even numbers. So I might have to do this a couple of times, but it doesn't matter to me. I just cut it in half. Half of 28 is 14. Half of 100 is 50.
Even again.
Let's do it again. Divide by 2. Half of 14 is 7. Half of 50 is 25.
Yeah.
7 doesn't go evenly into 25. Bam.
7, that's prime number, so
Prime number.
done. All right, let's look at percent to decimal. Now we're on the 5th conversion, right?
Yeah.
So percent to decimal, now we're going to do our Beyonce moves, right? So I showed you earlier this Dr. Pepper, right? So we write down that little shortcut. Now this would be the same as dividing by 100. So now we have a percent. We want a decimal. Now we're Beyonce going to the left, to the left. Right? Everything you own in that box to the left. So
that's the same
to
as
the left, to the left. So if I have, let's say, 68%, I have to start at the decimal. So if the decimal's not there, it's right in front of the percent sign, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's listed. So I start here, I go to the left, and then I rewrite that 68 hundredths.
And you're done because it's a decimal. That's all you gotta do.
That's all easy.
And if I have 120%, because one of my students did extra credit,
Ooh.
I would put my decimal here at the end. It's kind of that invisible place that it lives. 2 to the left, and I'd have 1.2, and that 0, I can write it, or I can just kind of leave it off there. It's the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. It's just a placeholder at that
Placeholder,
point.
yeah.
We'll show you one that has a decimal. So let's say we have 35.4%, right? So now I don't start at the percent sign, I actually start at the decimal. So I'm going to go to the left, and then 0.354. We could do this all day.
All day.
You just go Beyonce style to the left, and we remember that order by Dr. Pepper. We start at the pepper, move to the doctor.
Okay.
That's my favorite beverage. If you guys were in the class with me, you would see that on the regular, I eat the Dr. Pepper or the Dr. Perky from Food Lion when times are tough.
Yes. All right, the last one.
Woo, we made it to the end.
Well, you know what? I used to make this one so much harder. I will be honest, for my students, I kind of like overdid it. And then I went, wait a second. Percent means out of 100.
That's true.
So if I have 3%, I have 3 out of 100.
Look at that, just like that, it's a fraction.
And if I have 3 out of 100, don't I have 3,
Hundredths, that's fine.
hundredths?
We
So,
made it a decimal.
I made it, yeah, I can make it the decimal too, but from here, I just went straight to the fraction.
Yeah.
And if I had 25%, I'd have 25 out of 100. Actually, forget the decimal. We don't even need the decimal right now.
We don't.
I mean, now that one could be reduced, absolutely.
Yeah, well, if I have 25 cents out of $1 though,
You
I
have,
have 1 out of 4 quarters.
okay.
But what if we have those crazy percents
Oh,
over
yeah.
100? So say I have 130%. Well, look, guys, if I have 130% of a pizza, that means I have one whole pizza and then 30 out of 100, right? And I could very easily simplify this fraction. If your top and bottom share a 0, we cross these outies, which means I have 1 and 3/10.
How do you have 1 and 3/10 of a pizza?
I have 3 out of 10 slices.
Well, 3 out of on the second pizza.
Yeah.
Wow.
And one whole pizza.
Okay, all right.
You guys can come have some.
Yeah.
All right. So that's our 6th conversion. Right. So there's a couple graphics that'll help you remember these rules. Because even though you get a calculator, you still have to remember the rules on how to do the conversions, right? So Miss Lamb is going to talk about this power triangle.
Okay, and the power triangle just is fraction, decimal, percent. And you'll notice that the arrows go on the inside and then they go the other way on the outside. Because remember, there are 6 conversions.
Right.
Fraction to decimal, decimal to percent. Okay, percent to fraction, fraction to percent, percent to decimal, and decimal to fraction.
Woo.
So there's a lot in here. It's just something that I usually do. I put it in my notebook, or if I was taking a test, or if I was doing a study sheet, I would draw that out. And it's all these are the little clues. It's everything we just told you. Yeah. It's just in a little shortcut.
Yeah. And there's also a cheat sheet that you can find in your notes. It'll be on your slideshow.
Yes.
So this tells you all 6 conversions with little tips and tricks along
Dr. Pepper.
the way.
Oh, Beyonce. Oh, there we go.
Beyonce. All right. So if you have any questions, let us know. If not, see you later.
Bye.